Why are we playing it? Because widely regarded as being one of the most iconic radio voices in cricket of all time, Henry Blofeld is releasing a new book called Sharing My Love for Cricket. He takes readers on a charming journey through modern cricket with looking back at some of the great games of yesteryear. And delighted to see that Henry Blofeld is with us now. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Henry.
My Darrow thing, I'm in marvellous form. How are you both?
Yeah, very, very well,
Very
thanks.
good, thank you.
Where are you in the world, Henry? You look like you're on your holiday. Your wee.
No, I'm where I live in Norfolk, a little bit further north from you, and it's probably a little bit colder here than it is with you in London.
It's miserable outside here. Honestly, it looks like the end of the world out there. Well done in this book, Henry. You've been through it all. You've seen it all in cricket. What was it like going back down memory lane?
Well, it's not so much going down memory lane. I mean, I was inspired to write this book, but I'm completely sort of put off by the way that the T20 franchise world is swamping everything and pushing Test cricket, which I still think is the gold standard of the game, and I think most people do, to the margins. And it could one day lead to its extinction. And I think what we've got to do is to get a compromise, get a meeting between the two different sides so that both forms of the game can go ahead together. And at the moment, doesn't look very likely to happen, and it worries me.
It seems to be happening in sports where they're trying to bring in new fan bases. Henry, like we've seen it with golf and live, also with cricket and the new format and the 100, etc. Do you think it's just it wasn't broke, so it didn't need to be fixed in the first place?
I don't think that's an argument at all. I think we've got to look after the intrinsic value of the game. Of course, the marketplace has got to lead to a great extent, but not to damage the fabric of the game. I mean, one-day cricket is fantastic. It's got its place. It earns the money. But I think it's very important that the other form of the game, two-innings cricket, is kept. Because if you take two-innings cricket out of the equation, I think what we're left with is going to be it's not going to be something that's going to sustain public interest forever. I mean, look, let me go on for a moment. Last year in the IPL, we had the winners, the side from Hyderabad, played a game against the Bangalore Royal Challengers, and in 20 overs, the Hyderabad Sunrisers made 286 for 3, and the Bangalore side replied with 262 for 7, which meant that runs were coming at 13.8 and over. Now, the balance between bat and ball has always been so important to cricket, but now it's gone. I mean, when you get the best bowlers in the world being hit for 4 sixes and over, boundaries are being brought in. I mean, the whole thing is becoming lopsided, and I don't think the entertainment value will go on as it is at the moment. Okay, the IPL have got it. They've marketed it quite brilliantly in India. Of course they have. And it's spreading around the world under the aegis of the IPL. But I fear that what we may be left with is not going to be as palatable as, in the long run, as palatable as they think it will be.
I mean, you've got obviously a lot of passion about this, Henry. Fingers crossed it can work itself out. In terms of the book, what inspired you to write this then? Is it just keeping in touch with what should be the values of cricket?
What? Sorry, I didn't get that. What inspired me to write the book?
Yes.
Did you say?
Yes, please.
Oh, well, no, I mean, I love cricket, and I think it's very important to try and point out the risks. The one-day game, the franchise world, the risks that it's bringing to the established world of cricket. Of course, change is a good thing, but I think change has got to be controlled, and I think at the moment, T20 franchise is getting out of control. Players who signed for that are not going to be available at the moment to play in Test cricket, and I think both forms of the game must continue side by side. Otherwise, I think, as I say, the game is going to it'd be damaged. And I've also looked at the Ashes series last year, which was one of the great Test series of all time, and this shows that Bazball, as produced by Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum, is really bringing people. I mean, there were 24 days cricket last year. one was rained off. 24 days cricket watched by full house crowds. So, I mean, there's no lack of popularity in Test cricket in England. It's just a question of marketing it right and getting the balance and bringing the two sides together. And I think if this happens, I think life will go on peacefully. If it doesn't happen and Test cricket disappears, I think the game will be irreparably damaged.
Okay, Henry Blofeld, thank you so much for coming on. Talking about his book, Henry Blofeld, Sharing My Love of Cricket, the iconic voice of cricket and commentary as well. Yeah, that passion, very much so there. Don't forget, England finish their Test summer series tomorrow, the third and final Test versus Sri Lanka at the Oval. All the updates for you here on talkSPORT. And by the way, just on the subject of cricket, if you haven't already, Gabby, make sure you watch Freddie Flintoff's Field of Dreams. That series 2 is out, and it's so normal to sit here on the radio and we always focus on the negatives.
Of course.
Just a moment for Freddie Flintoff. What a guy he is. What he's done for cricket and his profession, but what he's trying to overcome just now as a human being. He's absolutely outstanding.
Totally agree.
And we don't get to focus on it enough. So good on you, Freddie Flintoff. And Henry Blofeld's book, Sharing My Love of Cricket, is available for you now. You're listening to talkSPORT Breakfast with the Arnold Clark app. Everything for your car, all in one place. You can download it today. Aston Villa fans, we are taking your calls on those Champions League price tickets. Absolutely extortionate. You can have your say. 03717 22 3344. This is talkSPORT Breakfast.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.